Good evening, and welcome to the College Sports Communicators 2025 All-Star Night of Honors presented by ESPN. Tonight, we recognize the leaders and talented sports communicators who have made meaningful contributions to college sports with the following awards: the Lifetime Achievement Awards, the Mary Jo Haverbeck Trailblazer Award, the Arch Ward Award, the Warren Berg Award, the Jake Wade Award, the Dick Enberg Award, the Academic All-America Hall of Fame Class of 2025, and honoring CSC members who have made outstanding contributions to the field of college athletics communications, our CSC Hall of Fame Class of 2025. Tonight's host is one of ESPN's most versatile commentators covering some of the biggest sporting events in the world. She's the 2023 Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame Kurt Gowdy Award recipient, the winner of the 2022 Sports Emmy for Outstanding Personality and Reporter, was the recipient of the CSC Jake Wade Award in 2019, and in May, was the commencement speaker at her alma mater, the University of Utah. Please welcome to the stage, Holly Rowe.
Hello and welcome tonight. This is such a fun night. I love being here because my life is spent in college athletics, and so this feels like my big family room. So thank you to all of you who are here so we can celebrate you tonight. We are celebrating tonight the highest levels of achievement in college sports and college sports communicators. CSC is the essential intersection of college sports, media, and great storytelling. And tonight we come together to honor those who represent this special tradition. It's also an honor to have our Academic All-America Hall of Fame inductees with us tonight. And as someone who's had the privilege of covering some of the most outstanding student athletes in the country, I know how meaningful this recognition is, and I'm so honored that I have covered many of our awardees tonight in their careers and what they did on the field. So we have 6 major CSC awards to give, plus 2 Hall of Fame classes to honor. And before we begin, I want to recognize the many in this room who have already won these awards. So if you are a past recipient of the CSC Lifetime Achievement Award, the Mary Jo Haverbeck Trailblazer Award, Warren Berg Award, Arch Ward Award, Dick Enberg Award, or have been inducted into the CSC Hall of Fame, please stand. We are so grateful for all that you've done and all that you continue to do. And now I'd like to welcome to the stage the CSC President, longtime buddy of mine, Senior Associate AD for Public Relations, and former Student Athlete Engagement for the University of Arkansas, Kevin Trainor.
Thank you. There we go. Thank you, Holly. It's certainly been deeply honored this year to serve as your CSC president, but I have to admit, getting to share the stage with the Holly Rowe at a big event like this ranks right up there at the top as well. So Holly, thanks for being here and being such a great advocate for CSC. We're also extremely grateful to our friends at ESPN for their sponsorship of this extraordinary evening and all they do throughout the year to support college sports and college sports communicators. A special thanks to ESPN friends Katie Callahan and Amanda Brooks. And on behalf of our CSC Board of Directors, staff, and members, I want to thank each of you for joining us for this special evening. You know, here in a few moments, we'll begin sharing the inspiring stories of dedicated student athletes, coaches, administrators, and CSC legends. Many of those who will take the stage are or formerly were members of CSC. Yet everyone who takes the stage tonight undoubtedly was impacted by sports communicators through their respective journeys. And just as COSIDA has changed to CSC, our organization has adapted and flourished even in the time of uncertainty within college athletics. With more than 4,700 members, CSC is larger, stronger, and more diverse than ever before. Our signature program, the Academic All-America program, has seen record participation, and tonight we honor our very best with the Academic All-America Hall of Fame. We've forged new partnerships, welcomed new sponsors, and launched more resources to assist sports communicators. We've done it all by working together. So a heartfelt thank you to all of those who have played a part in our collective success. But now it's time to shine a spotlight on our honorees and hand out some hardware. So at this time, I'd like to ask our Lifetime Achievement Award recipients together at the base of the stage to my right as we turn our attention to the screen for our first group of special award recipients.
The Lifetime Achievement Award is presented to CSC members who have served at least 25 years in athletics communication and who are retiring or leaving the profession. This year's class is one of the most prestigious in CSC history, with 19 individuals who have a combined 705 years in the profession. That's an average of 37 years each. The list includes 9 Hall of Famers and 3 past presidents of the organization, having earned a combined 52 CSC awards. Ladies and gentlemen, a CSC round of applause for the CSC Lifetime Achievement Award winners for 2025.
Not in attendance tonight, but receiving a Lifetime Achievement Award are the late Rich Bertolucci of UCLA, who spent 34 years with the Bruins, CSC Hall of Famer and past president Justin Doherty, who retired this spring after more than 30 years of Wisconsin athletics. This is a true story. He and I once found the famous slab of bacon trophy that they used to play for in an abandoned office in the middle of Camp Randall, so we did that together. I will never forget that moment. Donnie Nadeau, Mr. Cardinal, who spent his 29-year professional career at his alma mater, St. Mary's of University of Minnesota, with over 40 years in college sports communications, including 2 decades as one of the first SIDs at UT San Antonio before joining the NCAA, one of my good buddies from our women's tournament coverage, Rick Nixon. Creator of the Frank DeFord and Aaron Pinsky 06 Student Broadcasting Awards and the first Division III SID inducted into the New England Basketball Hall of Fame, Dick Quinn of Williams College. And after retiring 35 years at the NCAA and 37 overall in the profession, Sean Strassikar. So congratulations to those Lifetime Achievement Award recipients. For those in attendance, as I call your name, please accept your award and line up on the stage. I love that I get to tell them what to do because they've been telling me what to do for a very long time, Claude Felton. Please come on up and wait until the entire group is assembled and we'll get some photos. With 31 years in the profession, this double award recipient has dedicated his entire career to his alma mater. A past chair of the former CSC Charity Committee, now Goodwill and Wellness, he has also served as president of his local Conway Cancer Foundation Board, Steve East at the University of Central Arkansas. A CSC Hall of Famer and a member of the Georgia Sports Hall of Fame, he has been the cornerstone of the athletic department since 1979. Previously honored by CSC with both the Arch Ward Award and a 25-year award, he was most recently recognized when the press level of Dooley Field at Sanford Stadium was named in his honor. The only people in this room who love this man more than me are his family that are here. Claude Felton, you are my life, University of Georgia.
Thank you.
Closing a remark, that's going to make me cry. Oh, I hate to see people go. Closing a remarkable 46-year career that began in 1979, he holds the distinction of being the longest-serving college or university SID in the state of Iowa. A former CSC board member, he was honored with the Warren Berg Award in 2006 and inducted into the CSC Hall of Fame in 2010. Larry Happel of Central College in Iowa. With a career spanning more than 50 years at Missouri, Notre Dame, and most recently, University of Central Florida, he helped originate the CSC Writing Contest, now known as the Fred Stabley Senior Writing Contest. A 2003 CSC Hall of Fame inductee, he was also honored with the Burt McGrain Award, the highest recognition from the Football Writers Association of America in 2021. Please join us for one of the longest tenured, amazing, getting this honor, John Heisler of UCF.
Hey, Holly.
Great to see you. Thank you.
Over a 34-year career, he served as a CSC Executive Board, led as president of D2 CIDA. These are my old COSIDA days. I still mourn the loss of that sometimes. But he also has successfully promoted more than 100 academic All-America student athletes, and his achievements include a 2021 induction into the CSC Hall of Fame and the 2024 Warren Berg Award, John King of Missouri S&T. A CSC Hall of Fame inductee and the 2024 recipient of the Mary Jo Haverbeck Trailblazer Award, she has been a mentor, teacher, and advocate for hundreds of student athletes and athletic communicators. Her career includes impactful tenures at the University of Connecticut, the University of Texas, and since 2009, she has served as CSC's full-time staff. I'm only here because I do everything she ever tells me to do. Barb Koval of College Sports Communicators.
Thank you.
Her career in athletics communications began as a student at Oklahoma and included stops as an intern at Kentucky, 6 years at Stephen F. Austin, and a year at the SEC before spending the last 26 years helping lead media services at the Big 12. I have bothered her immensely in her life, and she has always been kind and loving to me. In 2019, she was recognized with the CSC 25-Year Award, Joni Lehman of the Big 12 Conference. Congratulations. He began his career at UMBC as head SID at just 23 years old. He did not know better, right, what he was getting into. Right as the school entered its first season of NCAA Division I competition and went on to serve his alma mater for 39 years. A longtime member of the CSC Scholarship Committee, he was also honored with the CSC 25-Year Award, Steve Levy of UMBC. Northern Kentucky University's first full-time sports information director, he spent a decade promoting NKU athletics and later joined the university's media relations office. His efforts earned numerous CSC publication awards and his induction into the David Lee Holt NKU Hall of Fame. He then served 18 years at the Great Lakes Valley Conference and was inducted into the GLVC Hall of Fame in 2009. Rick Myers of Northern Kentucky University. He wraps up a remarkable career this year with an induction into the CSC Hall of Fame. Along the way, he's been recognized with the 25-Year Award and honors in the Fred Stabley Senior Writing Contest. Serving on CSC's inaugural Division I cabinet, his career has included stops at Auburn, the NCAA, Tennessee, Colgate, and most recently, Maryville College. John Painter of Maryville College. A past CSC president and Hall of Famer, he concludes his more than 40-year career in college athletics as Senior Associate Commissioner of the Big East Conference. He served 2 terms on the CSC Executive Board of Directors and as a past recipient of the Arch Ward Award, the Bill Esposito Backborn Award, and the U.S. Basketball Writers Association Kathy Quinn Award. John Paquette of the Big East Conference. This one's going to make me cry again. Darn it. A CSC Hall of Famer and past president, she is retiring this summer from Auburn University after a career that also included key roles at West Virginia and Ohio State. I always tease her that Adam Pac-Man Jones was the most likable college student athlete in the world, and that was because of Shelley. We found out later that might not have been true, but she did her job very well. Her CSC honors include the Mary Jo Haverbeck Trailblazer Award, the Arch Ward Award, and the President's Award. She has served the organization in nearly every capacity: committee chair, task force member, board member, mentor, advisor, supported me while I was going through cancer. One of my dearest friends, Shelley Poe. Our final honoree served in roles at the Southland Conference, LSU, and SMU before spending his final 25 years in the profession at the University of Alabama. Coming to Alabama in 1982, he served as basketball SID and helped with Bear Bryant's final season with the Crimson Tide. He would later direct media efforts for the school's 1992 national championship under Gene Stallings, Larry White of the University of Alabama.
Thank you, darling.
Ladies and gentlemen, these are your, wait 1 second, let us clap for all of you and then we'll do the photo. These are your 2025 Lifetime Achievement Award winners, and we love you all so much. Dim the lights till we're sure everybody's off. Okay, there we go. Now let's please turn our attention to the screen for our next award.
Presented annually since 1985, the Warren Berg Award goes to a college division member who has made outstanding contributions to the field of athletic communications and who, by his or her activities, has brought dignity and prestige to the profession. In his 28th year at Moravian University, Mark Fleming is in an elite group of members who have won 5 of CSC's special awards. In addition to being inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2021, Mark has received a 25-year award, the President's Award, the Lester Jordan Award, and is now a recipient of the Warren Berg Award. For most of his career, Mark has dedicated his time and talent to CSC's Academic All-America Core program and has served as chair of the Academic All-America Hall of Fame from 2018 to 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2025 Warren Berg Award recipient, Mark Fleming.
All right. Okay, so I'm putting you in the hot seat here. All right. 5 times. You've won 5 different awards. That's pretty impressive, but you joined some other friends who have won this Warren Berg Award now. What does that mean to you?
Well, first off, I want to thank the Special Awards Committee and congratulate all the other award winners. I have a lot of friends in this group as well, but earning the Warren Berg Award was a very tremendous honor. I have known most of the people that have received the award. I actually met Warren Berg early in my career, which was a thrill at that point. But I really am thrilled to join 2 members of this list. I worked for both of them before I started at Moravian. I worked for Pete Nevins at East Stroudsburg and then Dick Leip at Bentley University the 2 years before I started at Moravian. And it's a true honor to be on with them. And Dick, they said about the Academic All-America program, Dick is kind of why I got into that.
Oh, it's beautiful. And I know his family continues to support it, and it's just been such a great thing. You did spend a lot of your career dedicated to that Academic All-America committee and all the work that goes into bringing people here. Why did you continue to be inspired and involved in that committee?
I grew up with librarians for both my parents. So my dad worked at Edinburgh University, so I had instilled academics in my career. When I started as a student at Edinburgh, Todd J., the SID, showed me the Academic All-America ballots and asked me when I was in charge of sports and later in my college career who I would think would be nominated for our teams. Program is a little different from what it is now. We actually had to use a typewriter to fill out the form and send the form in via mail to the district court. Very old school. But But then I went up to work for Dick, and he asked me to become a district coordinator. That was the first year of the expansion. Men's and women's soccer were their own programs for the first time in 1996. And then when the Hall of Fame broke off into its own committee in 2009, Dick asked me to move over to the Hall of Fame portion. It's been a tremendous run there. I've met a lot of people that I probably would never have met. There's the picture of myself and Dick Enberg in there. I walked past the Japanese steakhouse here and remember the last meal Dick and I had together back in 2017. I remember in this hallway, the last interaction I had with him. Grew up loving to watch games that he was commentating, and would never have gotten that opportunity if I hadn't gotten involved with the committee.
I love it, and you continue to give too. You didn't just, get to meet him. You gave and gave and gave to that committee, so congratulations on that. Everyone, congratulate our wonderful 2025 Warren Berg Award winner, Mark Fleming.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm a hugger, is that okay? Yep. They want me to wait for the music. I'm going to pick it up. I got it this time. Okay, now let's turn our attention to a set of awards given to those outstanding individuals who, through the course of their careers, have made amazing contributions to CSC, college sports overall, and society at large.
Presented annually since 1958, the Jake Wade Award goes to an individual who has made an outstanding contribution in the media to the field of intercollegiate athletics. For more than 4 decades, CBS Sports coordinating producer Craig Silver has served as one of the nation's leading college, amateur, and professional TV sports producers, winning 10 Emmys and countless recognitions for his work. Throughout his career, Silver has been supportive of CSC, its members, and its mission. As a longtime producer of CBS College Football, the NCAA Men's Basketball Final Four, and the NCAA Men's and Women's Track and Field Championships. He has built a tremendous reputation for his work, and his friends in the college athletics community number in the thousands. Among his numerous awards, he has been honored as a Legend of the Sun Bowl and earned a Legacy Award from the National Football Foundation. 2025 Jake Wade Award recipient, CBS coordinating producer, Craig Silver.
If I was heartless, I would say, all right, you've got 30 seconds, and then I would cut you off, just like you have done to many sideline reporters throughout the history
Wrap
of
it.
time. So I love this. I was an intern for him at CBS Sports 100 years ago, so this is such a cool full circle moment for me. You were the lead producer on the SEC for such a long time. I would watch your games with great envy because you are so creative. I know you also built a lot of really wonderful relationships. Who are some of the people that mentored you and you built relationships that you're very proud of as you received this Lifetime Award?
Well, a lot of people that were on the stage a few moments ago, starting with Kevin, Claude, Shelley, amongst my dearest friends, Larry White, Bud Ford is here, and virtually a who's who in the SEC, but also across the nation, John Paquette from the Big East. And, as you mentioned earlier, first of all, it's always about we, not me. None of this happens without a great team at CBS, but a great team in this community. And at the end of the day, we all have the same goal, which is to tell the great, incredible stories of these athletes in the college community.
I was wondering, ESPN started the SEC package this year, and I was wondering if you were sitting at home, like, critiquing every single thing we did. Be honest. A little bit.
Well, look.
I swear to you. Sometimes would do stuff, and I'm like, I wonder what Craig Silver thinks about this, because you were really the caretaker and the owner of that package for such a long time. You had that ownership, right?
Look, you don't live something for that long and be that entwined in the community and not, feel the tugs at the heartstrings. But I was, very proud of, the great job that the various ESPN crews did. They embraced what we did and carried on that legacy, and so many people, including yourself, are part of that package. But what I've said to everybody, this last 18 months has been a transition from the SEC to the Big Ten, and it's just been different. And for the most part, different, great, because we get to go to different places that I've been doing this a long time. I had never been to the Big House in Ann Arbor or the Shoe in Columbus until 2 years ago. So it's been different, but at the end of the day, the memories are there, and most importantly, the friendships are there, and so many of them are in this room, and that's what matters most.
You've been in a position to tell the collegiate athletes' stories and kind of help shape the narrative of college sports. What are some of the events or games that really stand out? As you look back, you're like, I will always remember this moment.
Well, as you know, it starts with some luck. You have to be in the right place at the right time and have the moment unfold. So I was lucky enough many, many years ago to be the producer of the Christian Laettner Duke Kentucky game. So that certainly is a highlighted moment. Somewhat more recently, but not that recent anymore, the famous Auburn-Alabama kick-six game are two of the most famous, iconic, that are close to my heart. But one that really stands out that people don't think about as much is the 2018 SEC championship game. And that was the season in which Tua Tagovailoa, the previous year, had come off the bench, thrown the winning touchdown, sorry Claude, against Georgia to win the national championship, and had replaced Jalen Hurts. The following season, Jalen Hurts didn't transfer, didn't go into the portal, which didn't exist. He was a great teammate. And I tell this story because I think being a great teammate is the most important quality you can have. Sorry. And in, some sort of karma, kismet world, Tua Tagovailoa got hurt in that game, and Alabama was losing. And Jalen Hurts, who stuck by his team, came off the bench and led them to victory.
It's
I think
amazing.
That speaks to everything about college athletics, team, friendship, and all the things that are important in life.
And I love that story because the very next year, he did transfer eventually, went to Oklahoma, and I got to be the one interviewing him when he won the Big 12 championship for Oklahoma, one of the only kids that's won the SEC championship and the Big 12 in back-to-back seasons. Heisman finalist, and now we see what he's doing in the NFL, so that's a really great story. I could keep you here all day because you have a million wonderful stories, but I'm just going to leave you with this. Scott Johnson, one of my dearest friends, grew up with you in New York City, so I've heard all of the really good stories that we cannot share tonight. But congratulations, you have given so much of your heart and soul and passion to this sport, and we are grateful. Thank you so much.
Thank
Craig
you.
Silver.
I just want to say two other things. First of all, I want to give a shout out to Holly. As she mentioned, we've known each other for 35 years, and she is the epitome of professionalism, charisma, on and off the air, and most importantly of all, courage. And, everybody in this room is proud to know you as a professional and, more importantly, as a friend.
Thank you.
And, I'd just like to conclude, so many of you know me, and you know me coming into your universities, your campuses, your hometowns, but none of any of this happens for me without the greatest team and teammates of all, my family, who are here this evening. My wife, Roseanne, who is our quarterback, our captain, and without her, none of this happens. You saw her in the pictures, and she raised these two incredible kids, Jack and Lena, who are here to support me, and I'm as proud as a parent and a husband can be. So thank you to the three of you.
Congratulations. Okay, see, we learned. I waited for the music. I'm getting better at this job. Please turn your attention to the screen for our next award.
One of CSC's most prestigious honors, the Dick Enberg Award was created in 1997 in recognition of Dick's passion and support of the Academic All-America program for more than 30 years and his dedication to education for more than 4 decades. The award is presented annually to an individual who has distinguished themselves nationally through their career achievement and meaningful contributions to society while promoting the values of education and academics. Senior Director of Team Development for the NBA's Miami Heat, former WNBA and Notre Dame basketball great, and award-winning humanitarian and civic leader, Ruth Riley Hunter is receiving the 2025 Dick Enberg Award. As a player, she enjoyed a legendary collegiate career in women's basketball, helping lead Notre Dame to a 2001 NCAA National Championship. She was a gold medalist at the 2004 Olympic Games and had a stellar WNBA career as a 2-time champion. Off the court, she's been recognized as a global humanitarian, basketball ambassador, and professional sports business leader. This CSC Academic All-America Hall of Famer has also been enshrined in the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame. For her contributions to college athletics and her work in humanitarian and educational efforts, Ruth Riley Hunter is the 2025 Dick Enberg Award recipient.
Okay, this literally feels like yesterday. You were playing at Notre Dame, winning a championship. You beat the great Sue Bird's team at UConn that year.
Thankfully,
I just want
yeah.
to remind people that's how good you guys were. And you've gone on to be such an impact in sports, women's sports, but now with the Miami Heat as a woman in the NBA, I'm really proud of that. You've done a little bit of everything, but what does it mean to win this award, the Dick Enberg Award?
Yeah, I was thinking about this award and just realizing that someone could have told me the criteria and I would have been just honored to receive it. And then you look at all the past recipients and now you're amazed that you're on that list. And then you learn that it's named after a great man like Dick Enberg and what his life has meant to all of us in the world of sports. But beyond that, how he lived his life, who he was as a man, and that speaks to the way I tried to use my platform and live my life. And so it is a tremendous honor.
It really is. You saw the faces of people who've won the award before you, and it is literally a who's who of anyone who did anything great in sports, and now it's you. Tell me a little bit of what does it mean for you, because it recognizes what you've done in sports, but also how you've contributed to society through your humanitarian work. What does that mean for you to be recognized for both?
My faith is really important to me, and that's really what has guided my life is, I'm really grateful for all that sport has given me. But I learned, especially at Notre Dame, the powerful platform that sport has and how we can use that in a positive and meaningful way. And I saw glimpses of that at Notre Dame, and that just got expanded on a global scale when I got to the WNBA. And I just feel like everything that I've been blessed with, I want to make sure that I'm using in a powerful and positive way, and this award really speaks to that.
Okay, I also wanted to point out, you were the first person to make the headband cool. I had forgotten that.
It was not cool back then, though.
It was not Skylar. You made the headband cool, okay.
The headbands got cooler, though, I will say. Like, the old school headbands were not. I mean, when you hold them out after a game, it's not cool.
Yeah, those were thick. Those were very, very thick. But you were part of not only a national championship winning team, you also won an Olympic gold medal. You won a WNBA championship that I think I got to cover. Was that the Detroit Shock?
Yes.
Okay, see, we have gone back a ways too. How do you take all of those experiences, because you've been a good team member on a lot of winning teams, and how does that help you move forward in life and kind of set a tone for what you can do?
Like every team I've played on, I've played a different role, and you see that in life. Every kind of chapter of life is a different journey. Your journey, every chapter is different, and so I felt like I've been blessed to be on championship teams, on really good teams, and my goal was always to be the best player that I could be, but beyond that, to maximize the potential of our team. Our collective potential was what was going to win, and I feel that you could step off the court and look around you in your area of influence, and maximizing the collective potential around you and how you're able to do that is something that I've been passionate about. But with the Heat, it's been great because I can use my experience in a very tangible way. And I want to give a very quick shout out. Coach Rosny was my first WNBA coach, and his wife Olivia are here. And just blessed what the W has given me and where it's gone. And to all of you who've covered women's sports, a shout out to you because you're a huge part of where we are now. And then also just my brother and Amber and Brock for coming and having just people who have supported me, on my journey. And I've just really been truly blessed.
Okay, I saw your little one running around.
Yes.
Now you're a mom. Tell me, how does that change what you're able to do and give back and balance all of these things?
I have a 2.5-year-old, and we have one on the way in a couple of weeks. And so, I think back as an athlete, you're trying to juggle so much, and it's never really a balance because it's never even. It's always just being prepared for the moment, understanding what is required of you at that time. And as a mom, a working mom, it's been the hardest job I've ever had. And it's such a blessing to my life, but just knowing that it's not going to be perfect. I'm just going to do the best every day, just really, really try to take it one day at a time. And, it's so fulfilling though and so rewarding.
Okay, motherhood, the hardest job you've ever had, and you played for Bill Lambier, so
Yeah,
that
true.
is saying something, right?
Theo doesn't talk like Bill, so thankfully.
He would be in timeout immediately.
Exactly.
Well, congratulations. And this is just a reminder, Ruth will be joining us tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. in this room as we hold a special conversation with her as our 2025 Dick Enberg Award winner. So please join us again tomorrow morning. We'll get more into her life in sports and the lessons that she has learned. Congratulations again, Ruth Riley Hunter, our Dick Enberg Award winner. Okay, that's not fair. She's due in a couple of weeks. I could not tell you were pregnant. That just tall women, so jealous. Okay, please turn your attention to the screen for our next award.
Selected by the CSC Executive Board, the Keith Jackson Eternal Flame Award is one of the organization's highest honors and is presented to an individual who has made a lasting contribution to intercollegiate athletics, has demonstrated a long and consistent commitment to excellence, and has been a loyal supporter of college sports communicators and its mission. The list of previous winners includes Dick Enberg, Pat Summitt, and ESPN's College Game Day. This year, we have waited until this evening to announce our Jackson Award recipient, making a surprise announcement. Our 2025 selectee is one of our most highly recognized advocates who has lent her support to CSC events like tonight for many years. It's our great friend and tonight's MC, Holly Rowe. With more than 25 years as one of ABC and ESPN's most versatile and celebrated announcers, Holly is known for her extensive work with college football, basketball, volleyball, and softball, along with the WNBA. Holly is at heart a champion of storytelling and a champion of those like our college sports communicators members who tell the stories of student athletes, coaches, and their universities and conferences. Throughout her career, Holly has worked closely with hundreds and hundreds of athletic communicators. A noted speaker on leadership, hard work, and resilience, she is a champion of empowering and leading others as she has changed the script and added her voice to sports commentary. Last month, she was the commencement speaker at her alma mater, the University of Utah, again making an impact in education. Holly was CSC's 2019 Jake Wade Award recipient for outstanding media work in support of college athletics. She is a Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame Kurt Gowdy Media Award recipient, a recent Sports Emmy Award winner, and tonight, we can also call our great friend the surprise recipient of our 2025 Keith Jackson Eternal Flame Award. Congratulations, Holly.
I think no one doubted it was a surprise.
We went through this whole script today.
We forgot that page in the script. I'm so sorry. It was an omission. I personally take responsibility for not having that in the script. But I mentioned before, an honor to be here, but we've talked about Holly, and she has been, the Eternal Flame is a great way to describe Holly because it's everlasting, it's light, and it's warm. And that's what I think of when I think of Holly Rowe. And when she talks about CSC and all of these things, she does it from the heart. And we're so appreciate all you've done to support us. And guess what? I now get to be the sideline reporter and ask you some questions. So,
Oh my gosh, this is just super weird.
yes, exactly.
I'm shaking.
So we're putting you on the spot here, which you do for a living. All right.
Oh my
So you've had at least 30 seconds to consider what this honor is. But when you see the names, when you see the honorees before, and all of those that you looked up to and mentors, what does it mean to be the Keith Jackson Eternal Flame Award winner?
Okay, well, first things first, when they were doing the announcement, I was like, gosh, that would be cool to have Keith Jackson's name on an award. I can't believe mine's going to be on there because I got to do his last game that he did with college football. I was his sideline reporter. And so to receive this award means a lot to me. Gosh, this is awkward. But the thing that's really cool for me is, so I got the Jake Wade Award a few years ago, and I kind of always secretly thought it was because I was dying at that point. I had stage 4 metastatic melanoma, and I just thought you guys all felt so sorry for me. And so I think this means a lot to me because I'm okay now, and it means that you guys think I've done a good job in sports.
You asked Craig a few moments ago, but as you look back on your marvelous career, and every time I look up, you're at the biggest events in the world. You're interviewing, and you step in and you speak with informed knowledge, enthusiasm for whatever event. But when you look back, what are some of your favorite moments that you can recall?
Okay, well, this will be my 30th year with ESPN, so how much time do we have right now? I know we don't have a lot because Barb has been telling me to move it along all day. I would say my favorite college football game, my dad took me to the Rose Bowl when I was a kid, and that was me and my dad's thing. We slept out on the parade route, watched the parade, and so fast forward about 15 years, and I was covering the Rose Bowl, and I got to take my dad to the Rose Bowl. And I was the announcer on the field when Vince Young ran by me in that epic Rose Bowl against USC. And to me, that will always be my favorite thing I've ever covered because my dad and my son were in the stands, and I've lost my dad, and he's why I love college football. So that was really awesome. And then I do want to just tell one other quick little story about why I am so passionate about all of you and all of you in this room. So we were covering the Women's College World Series this last week, and Chris Brown, the sports information person at Texas, came to me before the game and said, I just need you to know Tegan Cavan's grandmother just passed away, and she's just found out. We don't know if she's going to pitch. She's their starting pitcher, their ace. And he and I had to navigate how to work through this story because she didn't want anyone to know. But I knew what an incredible story that was. And so after the game, I talked to Chris, I talked to Tegan, and I said, do you feel comfortable sharing what you pitched through today? And she said yes. And so in her interview after the game, she said, my grandmother has the best seat in the house today. And it was this precious moment. And they went on to win the national championship just days after her grandmother passed away. That is why we are a great team as storytellers in this room, is we have to work together through really challenging, sweet moments. And so I just wanted Chris Brown to get some wonderful credit because that was a challenging, tricky situation, and I'll never forget that.
Well, thank you for letting us share this sweet moment with you. Your 2025 Keith Jackson Eternal Flame Award recipient, Miss Holly Rowe.
Wow. know how to pull it together now. Remainder of show, Roe returns to podium. Yeah. Oh my gosh, okay, I'm still shaking. Thank you, everybody, thank you. It is time now to honor the Academic All-America Hall of Fame class of 2025. And before we do so, any Hall of Famers, Academic Hall of Famers in the room tonight? Anybody? Please stand if you've been previously. One, hi, good job, good job. So please turn your attention to the screen as we introduce this year's inductees.
Since 1952, CSC members have recognized the best and brightest student athletes as academic All-Americans during their collegiate careers. In 1988, the Academic All-America Hall of Fame was established, and former student athletes were selected annually for their outstanding contributions after their collegiate careers. Academic All-America Hall of Fame inductees are part of an exclusive club. They represent some of the most talented and gifted people in diverse fields such as medicine, business, civil service, education, science, and the military, as well as a cross-section of the most accomplished athletes in history, from Olympians and world champions to all-stars and record breakers. Today, we add these 4 extraordinary inductees to our list. A 1999 Academic All-American and NUMAC All-Conference volleyball player at MIT, Dr. Alarise "Allie" Lowe captained her team to 2 NCAA tournament appearances and graduated with multiple assist records. A biology major, she earned her medical degree from UC San Diego and completed her residency and fellowship at UCLA before joining the faculty at Brigham and Women's Hospital. Her groundbreaking work in circulating tumor cells and diagnostic technology has earned national recognition. Now an associate professor of pathology at Stanford, Dr. Lowe also contributes to global initiatives focused on youth development, poverty, and HIV through organizations like Servant Partners and Compassion International. 3-time Olympian Catherine "Cat" Osterman enters the Hall of Fame as one of the most decorated and dominant softball players in the sport's history. The dominant left-handed pitcher and 2003 Academic All-American led Texas to 3 Women's College World Series and is the only player to win USA Softball National Player of the Year 3 times. A 3-time Olympic medalist, she won 4 professional league titles. Since 2013, she's volunteered with RBI Austin, providing year-round sports training, academic support, mentorship, and leadership development for middle and high school youth in the Austin, Texas area. Today, she's a softball analyst and serves as general manager for the Volts in Athletes Unlimited. A trailblazer in college women's athletics, Jennifer Shillingford dedicated 5 decades to advancing opportunities for women in sport. She competed in field hockey, soccer, and tennis at Ursinus College prior to the Academic All-America program's creation. A 1954 graduate, she became a national team field hockey goalkeeper and went on to a distinguished career in coaching and administration at Ursinus, the University of Pennsylvania, Immaculata, and Bryn Mawr. She led USA field hockey and women's lacrosse, helped guide the U.S. Olympic field hockey delegation in 1996, and served on the NCAA Council and NACDA Executive Board. In 1999, she co-founded the Snell Shillingford Symposium, which continues to develop future women leaders in sports. A 2-time Academic All-American and legendary scorer, Jackie Stiles led Southwest Missouri State, now Missouri State, to the 2001 Final Four. That season, she was a consensus All-American, won the Wade Trophy as National Player of the Year, and earned the Honda Award Broderick Cup as Collegiate Woman Athlete of the Year. She became the first NCAA Division I women's player to score 1,000 points in a season, finishing her career with a record-setting 3,393 points. She was drafted 4th overall in the 2001 WNBA draft, earning Rookie of the Year honors. Later, turning to coaching, she was named the Missouri Valley Conference Women's Basketball Player of the Century and inducted into the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame. Today, she trains and mentors athletes through her company, J. Stiles Total Training. Ladies and gentlemen, the CSC Academic All-America Hall of Fame Class of 2025.
Up here, I just wanted to give a shout out. Any CSC member who has successfully nominated an academic All-America, will you please stand up, that has helped someone in your college get this award? Good, in the back, here we go. Oh, look at everybody. This is a long process, and it is a great honor for these people, so thank you so much for taking time to do that. Hi, everybody. Hi, how are you guys? Okay, so Kat, I have to ask you first. I was doing the winning interview with Tegan Cavan after Texas won the national championship, and you popped in my mind because you got there 3 times, and they never gave you enough run support, no offense, to win the championship. And so in my interview with Tegan, did you hear me say your name?
Yes, I did.
I wanted your name to be said because you got them there and helped build that foundation. Oh, gosh, now I'm crying all the time. Damn it. Sorry.
It's okay.
I wanted you to hear your name in that moment because you helped build it. What was it like for you to see your alma mater, after all you've given to Texas, win it all?
Obviously, I was ecstatic. I was heartbroken I couldn't be there, but I had general manager duties with our new pro league. But I was texting the girls before every game, probably not the nicest text saying, hey, it's a good day to break some people's hearts. But I have poured so much into Texas and have supported it since I left. I bleed burnt orange. I was a middle schooler that chose Texas before I really chose softball. And so it's something I'm super passionate about. But Tegan especially is very special to me. Her and I, I'm going to cry now, created a good relationship her freshman year. And so have had some really tough and good conversations with her, but just proud. I was so proud of them. We've knocked on the door so many times. It was their 8th trip there.
Right.
We got a good number going with that one. But I'm just so proud. I've watched that program up and down and go through it all, and I've loved them all through it, and so I was super proud.
Okay. And you were at the AUSL launch yesterday, sold out crowd, as MLB has now invested in that sport, so that's pretty exciting. Okay, let's get to the real questions here. I've got to stay on track or Barb's going to yell at me. Let's start for a question for all of you. So I want to start with you, Allie, because you go to MIT, and I can't imagine you had any spare time to do anything, and yet you play volleyball. How were you able to balance academics and athletics?
Luckily at MIT, we actually have a very defined time, only between 5 and 7 when we're allowed to practice, actually, because we have other things that we need to do in other spaces. But it was really a great opportunity to just focus on sports during that time and be able to have the other moments to just focus on everything else. We did try and get sleep, and we did our best to work hard in all the different spaces that we were in and allocate and try and divide our time and energies to the different things that we were committed to.
So, you've had to combine, you're a pathologist?
Yes.
Just, no big deal. Saving people's lives, studying disease, cancer, and other things. How have you been able to combine, discipline, sports, and be really good at what you're doing in a very difficult field?
I think it was only through my experiences in sports and then wanting to really get to the best of my ability in whatever level I was. I'm not as tall as these folks here. I kind of actually wanted to stand. I was sad when you brought that third chair out. I was like, okay. But we all have our gifts and our abilities, and we really do our best in whatever spaces we have. And that's where I feel like I can do this contribution to the world through medicine and science, but also trying to do my best in my space in volleyball, which would be a setter. And that's where I just feel like everyone has a contribution that they can give in their different spaces, and we can do our best to contribute in those ways.
I love that you said that. You are doing work with youth development, legal assistance, social justice, and the fight against poverty and HIV. Tell us, you say it like, oh, I'm just working to help young people. No, this is very specific, high-level work. What are you doing that we can be inspired by?
Well, I'm just very thankful for all the different gifts that I've been given and the resources that I've been given, and we really feel especially inspired about urban poverty and just health equity, and just improving quality of life for folks. And so that's where it's either through my research and trying to figure out best ways to make really good diagnosis with minimal cost for folks and really helping to increase their health status, or honestly, sometimes it's just like financially giving to a lot of different spaces that we know are doing good work in the world. And I feel really appreciative to have the opportunity to just participate in all different ways in all these different spaces.
That's beautiful. Okay, I want to move back to Kat for just a second. Long storied history of the University of Texas. You are the first Longhorn to be inducted into the Academic All-America Hall of Fame. That is a big deal. And I don't know if you all noticed, this is our first class of all women. So how, you've won a lot of awards through your career. How does this honor, and knowing that you're the first Longhorn to receive it, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, I was surprised to learn that I was the first Longhorn. When I chose to go there, and everyone kind of asked why, because the softball program was fairly new, my answer was always it was the perfect balance of great athletics and great academics. And I got that, and obviously have been able to carry that through, and that's where I feel like this award really attributes to that. Obviously, I stayed more in the softball space, didn't go do anything with my degree, actually, but I'm proud of it, and I'm always proud to be a Longhorn, so I am proud to be the first, hopefully not the last, and there's some more coming, but I think this is a different award when you talk about where does it sit. It's really hard to place it above a gold medal or some of the Player of the Year awards, but because it honors a completely different side of me with more of the academic piece, it's truly something that, one, I don't know that I ever dreamt I would be up here receiving an academic award, but then once they contacted me, I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. And then I got to see the class, and I have her rookie card, by the way, because I was a hoopster first. So I have the entire first season of WNBA cards. So when her name was on the thing, I was like, I have her rookie card. That's pretty cool.
That's probably worth a lot of money right now, I would think. Yeah.
But it was also to be recognized with other athletes that obviously academically took care of business, but have just gone on to do amazing things in their career. It's humbling. So it ranks up there. I can't say it outdoes a gold medal, but for it being a completely different part of me, I think it's a great honor.
She just casually is like, and I also have a gold medal, just casually. The thing that people may not know about you is, so you win a gold medal in 2004, silver in 2008, and then you just come out of retirement. I think you were 30, were you 30?
37.
37, to win a spot on the 2020 Olympic roster. It's never been done in softball, pitching like that. How were you able to do that and accomplish it at such a high level?
Yeah, softball was taken out of the Olympics after 2008, and so therefore internationally, a lot of us technically retired internationally, but kept playing professionally. I retired professionally in 2015 altogether, and once we got back in the Olympics, just kind of felt like there was unfinished business. It took a lot of dedication. My husband's here with me tonight. He became a bullpen catcher, and he did not play college baseball up until I had to throw 3 or 4 times a week, and then he said, you need to find somebody else. But obviously balancing what it took to train again at that age, but it was also a lot of doing it on my own. He's blessed with genetics. He doesn't work out with me, so I was working out by myself, running by myself, but it was just a drive to continue to be the best at what I do in the space I take up, and wanted to give it one more go with Team USA, and I'm grateful I did, because again, I got to kind of connect with a younger generation of our softball athletes, and now that's kind of the same group I'm leading with AUSL, so it's been a full circle moment, but it was a rewarding one.
It's really special. Okay, Jackie Stiles, I don't know if you'll think this is a compliment or not, but you were Caitlin Clark before Caitlin Clark. Is that a compliment? Your name, we didn't even have the internet then, and you were so big.
You're making me blush, for sure.
You were so big and so famous, and this is a tiny school in the middle of the country. A lot of people hadn't heard of it until you came along. You were one of the first women to have a statue in this country of any kind. What was so special about your journey as not only an athlete and setting all those records, but as an academic All-American now?
Well, it's really hard to put in words what it means to be an academic All-American, and the only way you do something like that is you have an incredible support staff, and so many people are responsible for me achieving this. You know, I can't even go into names, there's so many people, but one of those was Coach Burnett, and she's shocked that I became such a great student because my mom tried to get me to apply myself in the academic realm, and I just would never do it, but Coach Burnett said, you apply yourself academically or you don't play, and a great leader takes you places you can't go on your own, and that was Coach Burnett for me, and she taught us that it's how you do everything, and so you have to give it your very best, and I've taken that on through the rest of my life, is even though some things you don't enjoy doing, you have to give your very best at even the things that maybe you aren't as passionate about.
I love that because you know it didn't come naturally to you, but you applied yourself. There's a saying, how you do anything is how you do everything, and you've all three obviously done everything very well. As we're honoring this class, your career accolades are incredible. NCAA scoring champion, National Player of the Year, WNBA Rookie of the Year, Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Century, casual, and on and on and on and on. So now you add this to your list of things that you've done. Again, that's special. Why are you proud of this in a different way, perhaps?
Again, I'm just so proud because, you know, my mom, again, tried to get me to work hard in the classroom, and I never did. And then, you know, when I really put effort towards it, I was able to become an academic All-American, you know, so it means so much. And I actually told my second grade teacher that I was going to play professional basketball one day. Of course, she looked at me like I was crazy because the WNBA did not even exist. And so it was just, basketball was what I had such a huge passion for. And so to be able to get this honor and to be able to achieve my dream of playing you know, professional basketball, it's just so hard to put into words what it means.
Well, I want to just say thank you and congratulations to all of you because you are Trailblazers, our first all-female class. But more than that, what you have done for women and women's sports, pathology, I mean, come on. But the where we are now, we're getting 18 million people watching a college women's basketball game. Think about that. 18 million people. We just had a softball game on our air, Tennessee UCLA, peak at 3.9 million viewers for softball. So what ownership do you take that you have helped create this beautiful boom that will benefit so many other women?
Well, it's so exciting to see you know, everybody tune in. And I obviously am invested in Caitlin Clark. I read an article where she asked who was the first school to recruit her. And so Missouri State started recruiting me first. They saw me play when I was 12 years old, started writing me letters. So I remembered the power of that. I ended up going to Missouri State. So I actually saw Caitlin play in middle school, and I wrote her a letter. And so then she actually said that Missouri State was the first to recruit her, but unfortunately she didn't become a Bear. So I've always really followed her career, and it's just, she should be celebrated, what she's done for the game. It's just absolutely incredible. Quick story, so when I played the WNBA, obviously the salaries weren't like the men, but we did travel and we got to stay in the most incredible hotels, you know, like the Ritz-Carlton. And after one of the games, I didn't eat right after the game, and there was no way I was going to order room service at the Ritz-Carlton, you know, way too expensive. And we would get per diem when we traveled, and so every day, and so we kind of try to eat cheap and save that money, you know, because like I said, we weren't making, you know, huge salaries at the time. And so there was a couple of my teammates that we went to, you know, get some protein bars from our trainer, and she's like, you know, there's Wendy's not too far from here. And so we were like, okay, we'll just call a car to take us to the Wendy's. Well, you know, we didn't realize that the Ritz didn't allow just any, you know, cabs to come up to the entrance. So a limo pulls up. And this limo driver's like, where do you guys want to go? And we're like, well, to the Wendy's late night window, basically, And he's like, that's the only place you all want to go? And we're like, yep. So by the time we ordered off the Wendy's late night window and took a limo there, we should have just ordered room service. It would have been cheaper, but it's something that I'll never forget. So, but hopefully now the girls, they can order room service because they're getting paid, a lot more money. So
that's amazing. All right, before we get out of here, I just wanted you to plug AUSL. It's the new softball league. MLB is investing in it. You guys actually just started yesterday. I didn't even know how you were going to have time to get here because you all were playing yesterday. What's important about that and this new opportunity for women in softball?
Yeah, for the first time, softball has a consistent platform financially, support all of it. So we don't have teams, the one team being treated right, one team that's, kind of making ends meet. So all our athletes actually get a true professional experience. But yeah, we kicked off 2 days ago. My Volts are now 2-0. They're going to play tonight here in about an hour. So hopefully they can get win number 3. But the MLB partnership is huge. They're putting us on MLB TV. They're putting us on MLB.com almost every game if ESPN is not covering it. And it's the first time that every game of a softball pro league has been streamed or accessible without pay to our viewers. And so it is the new big thing for softball. It is the moment for us right now. And so it is kicked off this past weekend and is going through the end of the summer.
I love it. Well, from saving lives, empowering young people, continuing to lift women in every space you're in, please join me one more time in honoring this academic American Hall of Fame class of 2025.
help me through my office.
Sometimes you just feel like the proud mom. I mean, I got to cover so many of these athletes, and they grew up to be these incredible women and mothers and groundbreakers. It's really special. Now it's finally time to recognize the CSC Hall of Fame class of 2025, but before I do so, I'd like to invite all past Hall of Fame inductees to stand and be recognized. Thank you for your contributions to the field of sports, information, and athletic communication. And at this time, please turn your attention to the screen as we introduce this year's class.
Established in 1969, the College Sports Communicators Hall of Fame recognizes CSC members who have made outstanding contributions to the field of college athletics communications. Following the initial induction class of 39, the CSC Hall of Fame has now grown to include 254 members over the last 57 years. Tonight, we add 6 more names to that list of prestigious Hall of Fame inductees. Lonza Hardy Jr., Larry Heimel, Tony Neely, John Painter, Cindy Potter, and Scotty Rogers. Our first CSC Hall of Fame inductee, Lonza Hardy Jr., who is currently a consultant in college administration, media relations, and marketing. With more than 40 years of service in NCAA Division I athletics, Lonza has served in sports communication roles at Albany State, Alcorn State, and Southern University. He served 14 years as Associate Commissioner of the Southwestern Athletic Conference before accepting his first role as an athletic director. A 3-year member of the CSC Board of Directors from 1999 until 2001, Lonza was the recipient of CSC's Bob Kenworthy Community Service Award in 2001, was previously honored as a 4-time SWAC SID of the Year. Lonza was inducted into the SWAC Hall of Fame in 2018, and he earned the 2006 General Nyland Outstanding Athletics Director Award from the All-American Football Foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, a 2025 CSC Hall of Fame inductee, Lonza Hardy Jr.
Y'all ready for this?
Okay, is it just me or did it just turn up in here? Like we went from like regal music to like, okay, now they want us to really get this party started. Lonzo, you have spent your entire 40-plus year career at HBCUs, working at 6 different institutions, 2 conferences and roles from media relations, marketing, and administration. So what is it about that HBCU experience that kept you there and kept you giving back?
First, I'm a graduate of the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, which is obviously not an HBCU, but from the moment that Albany State College in Georgia gave me a call and offered me their sports information director's job, they never once questioned me being an outsider. The thing that they were more concerned about was what did I bring to the table to make their athletics programs better at supporting our student athletes. Also, the NCAA looks upon practically all HBCUs and many other FCS institutions as limited resource institutions. But what I found out in working with HBCUs is that they are not, they may be limited financially, but they are not limited in their commitment to the total well-being of the student athletes, many of whom are first-generation student athletes.
And I'm sure you have to put on a lot of different hats. You were doing more than just your job. You were probably doing a lot of different jobs. With your breadth of experience across schools, conferences, and within CSC, what were some of the influencers along the way that you're grateful for and people who made a difference in your life and career?
First and foremost, and they may not look upon themselves as being influencers, but my family. Family, stand up. If I was to ask my family what an SID is, they wouldn't know. When I became an athletics director, they may have realized that athletics directors hired and fired coaches, but beyond that, they really didn't know what an athletics director did. But they supported me along the way, every step of the way. So I thank my family for doing that. In the work arena, the great Marino Cassim, who hired me twice as SID at Alcorn State University and later at Southern University in Baton Rouge. Coach Cassim, who's now deceased, he was one of those old-time administrators who believe in that old adage is that you have to do so much with so little for so long. You have to believe that you can just about do anything and all with nothing. Well, you can't do anything with nothing, but what he was trying to point out to me is that you have to look beyond the limited resources that you have and basically outwork other people. So that was a great lesson that I learned from Marino Cassim. The late Dr. James Frank, who was my boss for 13 and a half years with the Southwestern Athletic Conference, he basically gave me the keys to the conference's media relations and basically said, go with it. Never questioned at all what I did. He just wanted me to learn from others in the profession and help make the institutions of the Southwestern Athletic Conference better. Later on, there was Dr. Dennis Thomas, and Dr. Thomas, before he became commissioner of the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, he was the defensive coordinator at Alcorn State, where I got my Division I start. Coming from the East Coast, going to work at Mississippi, it was a whole different atmosphere. The temperature, number one, was different. In August, the temperature in Mississippi was quite different from that in North Carolina. So one day, Dennis Thomas came to my office. I was enjoying the air conditioning while the football team was out on the field. He said, Alonzo, if you're gonna make it in this profession, you gotta come out there with us. So I had to leave the air conditioning in my office, go out in the hot Mississippi heat, and that was a total new awakening for me at the time.
Okay, so you've put in more hard work than anybody then probably.
That's most definitely.
That's hard. So you should know the Southern SID for women's basketball this year was wonderful. I got to cover them in the NCAA tournament, and I was so proud of him. He did a wonderful job, and we got to tell a lot of stories. So you've left a good legacy at some of these places that you've gone. I wanted to give you some credit there. Thank you for everything. Thank you to your family for being here, and they are influencers for you and for all of us. Thank you so much. CSC Hall of Fame Class 2025 inductee, Lonzo Hardy.
Thank you.
Ready for this.
The music changed. I'm not crazy, right? It's like, okay. Please turn your attention to the screen for our next Hall of Fame inductee.
Larry Heimel became Southeastern Louisiana University's first full-time sports information director, serving in that role for 28 years and dedicating nearly 5 decades to the university. After retiring in 2005, he led Southeastern's University Center for 11 years before transitioning to become Southeastern Alumni Association's Alumni Athletic Coordinator, coordinating their Hall of Fame Day activities. In 2017, Larry established the Endowed Scholarship for Sports Journalism at Southeastern. His numerous accolades include the 2017 Southeastern Louisiana University Lion for Life Lifetime Achievement Award, induction into the Louisiana Sports Writers Association Hall of Fame in 2011, and a CSC Lifetime Achievement Award, plus a 25-year award in 1997. He also earned a spot in the Southeastern Louisiana Athletics Hall of Fame and received the Louisiana Sports Writers Association's Max Russo Award. Ladies and gentlemen, a 2025 CSC Hall of Fame inductee, Larry Heimel.
Okay, this is a cool story to me because you were the very first full-time SID at Southeastern Louisiana, and more than 4 decades later, you are still there and still contributing. Why did you stay so long, and why did it mean so much to you?
Well, first of all, it wouldn't let me out of the city limits. I grew up in Hammond. I went to Southeastern, and I worked in sports information. Well, it was just publicity then, but I did most of the sports work. I retired. I graduated. I worked in town at the local paper for 5 months, and then Southeastern called me and said, "Do you want to be the first full-time SID?" I said, "Yeah, I'll take it." I took a cut and pay, and I went to work for Southeastern.
You probably still have that cut and pay, I would imagine. But you've given back. I think it's really interesting that you endowed that scholarship so that other young journalists, what made you do that? That is a real legacy that you're leaving.
Well, when I was fortunate. When I was a student, I had a scholarship. It wasn't, it was a little bit more than what they do now, but I just felt like I wanted to give back. I wanted to help a student at some time, you know, and I saw a lot of students come through Southeastern, a lot of athletes, obviously a long time. Of course, one of them was Robin Roberts, I think, who you met.
Yes.
I was very fortunate to be the SID for 4 years when she was playing there, along with others, and it was a great career. I still love Southeastern. I still go out there every once in a while and make sure the roofs haven't fallen in since I left, but they haven't. You know, they showed a picture of the book. I decided I wanted to save some history of Southeastern athletics. They've done a lot on the university. And so I just wanted to, I did 70 years of Southeastern athletic history from 1930 to 1999. And I just wanted to preserve that because a lot of that was BC before computers. Half of my career was BC, okay? And a lot of the older guys out there know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
But that's it. And I've just had an affliction for Southeastern. I can't get rid of it. It's just been my life, and it still is.
I really love that because you have seen the profession grow and change, and even this organization, 500 members to now 4,700 members. What does it mean to you to be recognized by this group and now be in the Hall of Fame?
Well, whether it's 500 or 5,000, it's when you're recognized by your peers and former peers, it's just the epitome of your career. And what more can I say? I mean, and I have 2 former assistants, student assistants of mine that are now full-time sports information directors at other U. I would have a third one, but he died at a very young age after he achieved his life dream. But it just makes me proud that I have former guys that work for me that are now in their profession and a part of this wonderful organization that I was for a while, and I'm glad they're doing what they're doing now.
I love it. I think there's so many people in this room, you know, you've done this 70-year history. You go back and you do these archives because you truly love it. No one's paying you to do that. You're doing it because you truly love it and want to preserve this history. Right. So thank you for doing that and for all that you have done.
Well, and thank you very much. And I wasn't a coach in the World Series or Super Regionals, but it gave me an opportunity to be interviewed by Holly Rowe. Thank you, ma'am.
I love it. I love it. Thank you. All right. Some people think that Kim Mulkey is the pride of Hammond, Louisiana, but I think we all know now that it is Larry Heimel. Please turn your attention to the screen for our next Hall of Fame inductee.
Assistant Athletic Director for Communications and Public Relations at the University of Kentucky, Tony Neely is a 2025 Double Award recipient. In addition to his CSC Hall of Fame induction, Tony is the 68th recipient for the prestigious Arch Ward Award, recognizing his outstanding contributions to athletic communications and his dedication to elevating the profession. For over 3 decades, Tony has been a vital part of UK athletics. Prior to his time in Lexington, he served 16 years at Vanderbilt, where he started as a student assistant and quickly advanced to sports information director. A leader in college sports communicators, Tony has served on multiple CSC committees, including 8 years with the Professional Development and Continuing Education Committee, where he is a key moderator for convention sessions and webinars. In 2018, Tony earned his CSC 25-Year Award. Under his leadership, Kentucky's communications staff has been nationally recognized 3 times by the Football Writers Association. An award-winning writer, Tony has also co-authored the official book celebrating UK's 1998 NCAA Men's Basketball Tournament Championship. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2025 Arch Ward Award recipient and a new member to the CSC Hall of Fame, Tony Neely.
Well, here we are. So you have been so heavily involved in CSC for a long time, on committees, writing brochures, panels, doing all of the work. So what's it like to now be on this side? You've nominated a lot of people for awards, and now you're getting 2 big awards tonight. What does that mean to you?
Holly, first thing I got to say is I was going to congratulate Craig Silver for his award, and then he had to go mention the Kentucky-Duke basketball game. Come on, Craig. I'm sorry, let's start this thing where it's supposed to be. What am I supposed to answer here?
Okay, just one true story. I was working in the control room for CBS Sports during that game, and Pat, what was Pat's name that was your studio host? Pat O'Brien called me and said, "You've got to change my dinner reservation. This damn game's going to overtime." True story, so I did change his reservation. Okay, let's refocus. You've done a lot for CSC. Now you're getting 2 big awards. What does that mean to you?
Well, you hear coaches get Coach of the Year award, and they always say, and rightfully so, I accept this on behalf of, my players and the coaches and so forth, and I feel the exact same way. There are so many people, I was reflecting on these awards, that I wouldn't be here, no way I could have ever gotten them without those folks. There's a few of them here tonight. Paul Kennedy, who was my first mentor 46 years ago at Vanderbilt University, came all the way to be here tonight. Let's see, Dwayne Peavy, AD at DePaul now, but he's been a long time CSC staple, and he was an incredible mentor for me during his time at Kentucky. Got a family friend, John Robertson, who employs my daughter. We won't go too much into that. John, glad for you to be here. Let's see, Susan Lax. I definitely wouldn't be here tonight without Susan. She did all the work in doing the nominations. So as you go through, there's so many people that I wouldn't be without so-and-so. And so that's what I feel like in getting this award. Wouldn't be right. I kid you not, when I got this news in January, I have practiced this for months. And my wife says, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. My daughter couldn't be here tonight. She broke her foot, of all things. But brought a picture of her and told her a little while ago, you're not here in body, but you're here next to my heart. And then my wife Terry's here, and greatest wife an SID could have. And so just thanks to all the folks who have made it possible for me to be here tonight.
I'm really glad you said that, because there's a lot of younger people who sometimes get out of the business because you have to work nights and weekends and holidays, and it's hard. So I think we should give a round of applause for every SID spouse in the history of college sports, because that's hard. That's hard. So the SEC motto, I don't know if you all have heard of this. They've done a good marketing job. It just means more. You have stayed in the SEC all 42 years of your career. What does that mean to you to have been such an integral part of this conference?
Well, I hate to date myself, but that didn't include my years as a student. Like John Belushi said, let 7 years of college go down the drain. But actually 47 years in the SEC. But SEC really is a special place. We were at the conference meetings a couple of weeks ago, and there's just a real family. There is a real family feel to it. Now, everybody understands you want to beat each other on game day and so forth. We also understand that you've got to pull together as a unit and move forward. That's the way for everybody to move forward, and the SEC's got a real feel for that.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I'm glad I'm not the only one that's been up here crying. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Well, at risk of starting it again, I want you to know something else about this lady up here. When she was going through her cancer battle, my wife was going through her own cancer battle. And Holly always, when she came in for a game, always wanted to know how she was doing. It wasn't just, hey, where's my stats, where's my notes, where's the interviews? She wanted to know how Terry was doing. And so I just wanted to say, Holly, it's another thing that makes you so special, why you're so dear to this organization.
Thank you. Thank you. Arch Award recipient and CSC Hall of Fame Class of 2025 inductee, Tony Neely. Thank you, Tony. Please turn your attention to the screen for your next Hall of Fame inductee.
Hall of Famer John Painter has built an incredible career spanning over 30 years as a leader in athletic communications at both the NCAA Division I and Division III levels. John's journey began in 1988 as an assistant SID at Auburn University, and it culminated in his role as assistant athletics director for communications at Maryville College in Tennessee. For 11 years, he served as senior statistics coordinator at the NCAA, overseeing records and stats for all three divisions, while acting as media coordinator for Division I ice hockey and FCS football championships. John then served at the University of Tennessee and Colgate University before joining Maryville in 2021. A member of the inaugural CSC Division I cabinet, John has served as the chair of the NCAA Statistics and Advisory Committee. He earned the CSC 25-Year Award in 2014 and is recipient of a 2025 Lifetime Achievement Award. Ladies and gentlemen, Lifetime Achievement Award recipient and the newest member of the CSC Hall of Fame Class of 2025, John Painter.
Okay, John, we have worked together on a number of occasions at multiple schools. You have spent 5 decades, a lot of changes in this profession. So tell me, what has been your approach? Nick Saban has a great quote. He got it from the dinosaurs, adapt or die. So how have you adapted and kept going and embraced changes in this profession?
Well, Barb didn't ask me to say this, but one way is by attending this convention every year. Not every year, but I'm 27 years and the last 22 in a row.
Oh, wow.
So that's just always a way that, I'm lucky because they sent me here, and not every SID has that ability because they don't have the money or the boss doesn't think it's quite important. But I was lucky because from day one, David Housel, a Hall of Fame member at Auburn, sent me the very first year. And so I've been, through the years, been able to come. My wife and I have been married, Mary Margaret, 32 years. And 27 of those, we've come to conventions. You know, our kids, we show up at the picnic, especially back before it was combined with NACTA. But, you know, we're in Rochester, we're in Calgary, we're in Cleveland, Ohio. And so we're at the picnic, we're doing all the events. And, you know, really it's just a way to know what's New Mexico doing, what's Fresno State doing, what's Gallaudet doing. And so we just a way for us to keep fresh. And, you know, I always encourage my staff to attend and go to the sessions that you want to go to that you think are interesting. Don't feel like you have to go to every session, but I also thought the sessions in the hallway were just as important as the sessions inside the rooms, because you're connecting with maybe your conference friends or somebody you used to work with at Oklahoma or something like that. So I just thought being here, being on site, and seeing those people every year was so important.
I love you saying that because I really truly believe this is like a family, it's like a family reunion every year, right? But you're growing and getting better professionally. You've also been able to work in the office with 9 different CSC Hall of Famers, especially early in your career. What did you learn from some of those legends in the industry?
That's the stats person in me, right? I want to know how many SID Hall of Famers I worked with at 9, which is crazy. Larry Happel's here tonight, Bud Ford's here tonight. Those are 2 of them that I worked with. It really was just luck, you know, most of the time luck. I'm on a great staff. I got hired by a great staff. But to say that I'm in the same, you know, word or group with Haywood Harris and Claude Felton. I didn't work at Georgia, but I worked in the league with him, and just Bob Cornell at Colgate. So yeah, I just kept falling into great situations. Dave K. Wood at the NCAA. Was another one. So I just kind of kept falling into those. I thought I was just getting lucky and falling into this, but you certainly soak in the right way to do things. David Housel taught me a ton of stuff. I was barely there a year and a half, and there's so much stuff I still use from David, you know. And he called me, by the way, when this happened, and so it was a great call. I'd not talked to him in a long time, and so my plan is to get down and see him. But yeah, I've been lucky. I'm super lucky. And there's a lot of lucky people. Everybody in this room is lucky because you're here, and you're only going to get better being here and just getting to know people and getting better every day. So yeah,
I like that. You're lucky to be part of this family reunion. Well, thank you, John. You've done great work everywhere you go, and your focus on stats. I think that's important because stats is the lifeblood of our business, and us in TV, we really appreciate that, and that was a specialty of yours, so thank you so much for all of that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lifetime Achievement Award winner, CSC Hall of Fame, class of 2025 inductee, John Painter. Thank you, darling.
Yes,
Thank you. Please turn your attention to the screen for our next Hall of Fame inductee.
One of the most recognized female leaders in college sports communicators history, Cindy Potter has dedicated more than 20 years at her alma mater, Columbia College, Missouri, where she now serves as Director of Athletics. A CSC multi-award winner, Cindy received a Rising Star Award in 2008, the Warren Berg Award for Outstanding Communications and Leadership in 2020, and the Bud Nangle Award for Ethics in 2022. Elected to the CSC Board of Directors in 2011, Cindy made history as the first NAIA representative to ascend to the officer rotation, serving as CSC President in 2021-22. Beyond CSC, Cindy has been a key leader in NAIA SIDA, serving as its president and contributing to numerous NAIA national committees. A former Cougar softball student athlete from 2002 to 2004, she was inducted into the Columbia Hall of Fame in 2012. Ladies and gentlemen, a 2025 CSC Hall of Fame inductee, Cindy Potter.
wear pink 90% of the time. I will never forgive myself that we're not twins tonight. I'm so sorry. Congratulations on being the most decorated NAIA member in college sports communicators history. You are an athletics administrator, a communicator, a wife, a dedicated parent, a national leader, and a Disney travel agent. Are you helping people here during this event? Wait, what's happening?
There's a couple, yeah.
How have you been able to do all of it? Because you really have encompassed and touched a lot of different areas.
Well, I really don't do all at the same time, and I don't know that I do all well, but I'm really bad at saying no. So I do believe that really when you're passionate about something, it really gives you energy instead of drains you, and there's a lot of things that I'm passionate about, and you know, I knew that I would have trouble not being emotional, but I'm not the first person to cry tonight, so I'm okay. But I really love the idea of my kids being raised in sport, and my kids who are here tonight over there. And I think that by doing so many things and being a leader, it really gives them the idea that you can wear many hats as a mom, especially, and pursue your dreams at the same time. And that has just been really important to me.
I think sometimes we feel guilty when we're not always being mom, and we want to chase our dreams too. I saw a study recently that the #1 contributor to children's happiness is the happiness of the mother. So remember that and do not feel guilty for chasing your dreams. I thought that was really important. CSC went through a really hard time, 2021 to 22. Coming off of COVID, you know, the pandemic's still going on, we're playing in bubbles. What are some things that you did that you're proud of and takeaways that you kind of had to institute during that challenging period?
You know, one of the things that you mentioned earlier is not necessarily that I'm proud of, but it was my year that we went from COSIDA to CSC. I still like COSIDA too. I say it too often, but you know, really during that time, it was all about communicating and the safety of our student athletes and being flexible. And during that time, I really leaned on our community, and we had to. We couldn't leave our house, and you know, I shout out to my NAIA SIDA peeps who we really bonded together over calls during that time, and then my blue chair group, they got rid of the blue chairs out here. That's where we used to sit all the time during convention, and we became the blue chair group, lifetime friends, and those are who we really leaned on during that time. I think that the key takeaway was you're not successful in this position, in this life, without a community behind you, and I'm forever grateful for my community.
I just need to know, #SID problems, are we still allowed to use that? Because I would use that a lot.
I mean, that's up to you. I'm not a big hashtag fan, but I think...
It was funny, though. There would be funny stories on there.
There was a lot of funny stories during that time, yes.
Yes,
Yep.
okay, I'm just checking on that. Last thing before I let you go, you know, NAIA, you've worked with different groups, bigger, smaller, different sizes. What is important about every single level of people who are working in CSC?
You know, I really think that it's the big time where you are. Short little story, I know, because Barb will get mad at me too, but you know, I was not supposed to be in this profession. I was going to be a teacher. And Amber Cox, who is now the CEO of the Indiana Fever, she was my first boss, so that was kind of cool. She hired me as a student worker, and she left halfway through my super senior year, and that gave me an opportunity in this job, and it's CSC. It was COSIDA at the time, but CSC that really made it big time for me. And I'll never forget that the opportunities that CSC has given me over the years, and whether you're a Division I school that is that Holly Rowe's covering all the time, this is so cool, by the way, or your little old Columbia College in Columbia, Missouri, shadowed by Mizzou, it doesn't really matter because the big time is what you make of it, and this has been the biggest of times for me. So.
Well, congratulations. So nice to have you here tonight. That is our CSC Hall of Fame Class of 2025 inductee, Cindy Potter. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We're in the home stretch. Stay with us. Please turn your attention to the screen for our final Hall of Fame inductee.
Our final Hall of Fame inductee for 2025 has been a trailblazer at every step of his career, and this year he's a double award recipient. From his early days as a student assistant at the University of Alabama to his current role as Vice President of Communications for the Cotton Bowl Athletic Association and the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, Scotty Rogers has been a driving force in college athletics and a dedicated leader within CSC. His impressive career has taken him from Alabama to the SEC office, the Ivy League, CSTV, the NCAA, Tulane University, and the Sun Belt Conference, all before joining the Cotton Bowl in 2020. This year, in addition to his Hall of Fame induction, Scotty receives the Mary Jo Haverbeck Trailblazer Award, recognizing his impact as a groundbreaking leader in the industry. Over nearly 30 years, Scotty has been the first black person to hold key roles in multiple organizations, paving the way for future generations. Scotty currently serves as the chair of the CSC Inclusion Committee, where he oversees the Inclusion Fellowship in partnership with the Knight Commission on Intercollegiate Athletics. A previous recipient of the CSC 25-Year Award, Scotty has also earned 2 CSC President's Awards, those in 2021 and 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, the Mary Jo Haverbeck Trailblazer Award recipient and a member of the 2025 CSC Hall of Fame class, Scotty Rogers.
Y'all ain't gonna make me cry. Not
You're
gonna
in good
do
company.
it.
You're in good company. It's okay. So from your time as a student assistant at Alabama to your current position at the Cotton Bowl, you have gone and done a little bit of everything in between, but you've been a trailblazer all along the way. What does it mean to be recognized here tonight for all that you've accomplished?
You know, Holly, I'm gonna answer that question a little differently. I'm gonna need the audience to help me on this, okay? Y'all get ready. Y'all been sitting for a long time, so get ready for a minute. I need everybody in the room to stand up if you heard me speak on a panel, worked with me on a committee, went to an NCAA championship, we worked together somewhere, went to a YC event, interacted with me at a panel here or in the lobby bar. I need everybody in the room that have had an interaction with me in my career to stand up right now. I did that for a reason, because the reason why I'm sitting in this chair is because I was able to impact a room like this. I'm a 5'6", uncoordinated kid from Atmore, Alabama. I got no business doing what I've been doing, but I've been really fortunate. You know, it's all about chances and opportunities. I met KT when I was a student at Alabama. Larry White gave me a chance when I was just a kid who thought he wanted to work in sports. It's just been an unbelievable journey, and I've been able to do so much in so many different places. I didn't know when I was going on in this journey that I was going to be the first, the second, or the third black person. But I got to say something about that because I think it's something really important. There are 260 people in this Hall of Fame. There are only 11 black people. Lonzo's 10, because I'm giving him 10 because of deference, and I'm 11. But I am the first, and I can't even believe I got to say this, I am the first of those 11 who has never worked at an HBCU or an HBCU conference. And I don't say that for any disrespect for all my friends that worked at an HBCU. I had to go through this career doing things that I didn't see people that looked like me. I didn't see people, but that didn't stop what's going on. You see my group of friends, we're from all over, we all look all kind of different, and it's been unbelievable. So I've been very thankful of the opportunities I've been able to afford myself through this organization, and I just try to give to people because I just love people.
I think I just need to stay out of your way and let you keep talking, honestly. I can't do anything better than what you're doing right now. You've been on college campuses for 30 years, around people for 30 years. I saw in the video, this is not a scripted question, but I saw in the video you've worked on panels that talk about inclusion. This is a word that is becoming diversive in our population and culture, and it makes me crazy. We have to include people in this business because we get better by working with people who may think differently than us and have different life experiences. So thank you for your work. Why do we need to continue to include people in this business and this organization?
We're only better when we work together. We're only better when we're diverse and can do things together to move things forward. Not everybody got to look the same. Not everybody's got to come at this from the same perspective. But when we're all different in the same room, that's a great room to be in.
Thank you. Well, I want to say thank you. That is the greatest honor I could imagine, to see all these people stand for you. I'm one of those who've worked with you in many different roles, so I'm standing on your behalf. Ladies and gentlemen, your Mary Jo Haverbeck Trailblazer Award recipient and CSC Hall of Fame Class of 2025 inductee, Scotty Rogers.
Before I get off this stage, though, y'all know it was going to go overtime, so you might as well get ready. I need my family in the second row, and everybody in the room that came here for me, I need you to stand up.
Aww.
Because when you look at the people that just stood up, that's diversity. So I just had to make sure to do that. Thank y'all. This has been fantastic.
Let me wait for the music. I'll get it. That's a mic drop moment, and that is our last award recipient. I can't think of anyone better. That is beautiful to see all of these people who are different to stand up for that man. I'm so grateful to all of you. That was really cool. Whew. Scotty, you got me. Okay. Before we close out this incredible evening, I'd like to take a moment to once again thank our presenting sponsor, ESPN. They have given me 30 years of my life. I've never worked a day in my life. Thank you for the support for tonight's event. A huge congratulations to all of our special award recipients. Your achievements and dedication have truly inspired us. And as we wrap things up, I'd like to kindly ask all CSC Hall of Fame inductees to please make your way back to the stage immediately following the event for a group photo. And finally, don't forget to join us for the CSC Special Awards Luncheon on Wednesday. Thank you for being here tonight. I know it's a long award, but it's a long show, but I'm glad you all stuck with us, and we're so grateful for you. Thank you, everybody, and have a wonderful evening.